if you look at the news, recent news, and the last few weeks, the rioting, and the process behind the rioting, is that there's groups of people that show up and create violent situations, and they instigate other people to do things that are violent, such as steal things or break windows or destroy, vandalize, burn trash cans, and it's all being done in an organized way, not an unorganized way. So this isn't people just happen to be showing up at a group situation where they're protesting. This is protesters on a professional scale. Yeah. And if you watch this historically over the last 5 to 10 years out of America, we'd find that this group shows up all the time. They wear black masks, they wear black, they wear hoodies, they behave in the same manner every time, and they get a little bit more sophisticated as time goes on, and numbers are larger. Yeah. And so the origin of these people, by a great percentage, is from the state of Washington, and from a city called Seattle. Yeah, so Seattle has its problems. It has grunge. It has a lot of very interesting behavioral aspects. Satanism and many other things is carried on in large ways in the area of Seattle. And also it's the place of the home of two of the biggest monopolies on the planet, Microsoft and Amazon. And these are well-known monopolies. They're both going into court and have gone through it and have been recognized fully as monopolies, and yet they still exist and they still do exactly what they're doing. And so the money aspect of it is big in a little tiny place called Seattle. And then you have Starbucks, you have many, many other really large corporations that are sitting there. But at the same time, it is the most crime in America. Per capita, there's more crime in this little city of Seattle. And that bleeds out. That goes to every place else. Wherever there's something going wrong, protesters, which are part of the crime aspect, the mental attitude of tolerance. This is a group of anarchists that have taken over Seattle over the last 20 years. And they start with their music, and they start with their grunge, and they start with the process of, goth. Back at the time of goth, if you go back to Seattle, you'll find that it was a major headquarters for that kind of belief system. And people that were just stepping completely out of society. And this leads to some pretty interesting behavioral aspects if that carries on over the years. It becomes a cultural aspect. It is seated in the people who are attracted there and the people who live there. And then it creates tolerance. So you'd have a great deal of homosexuality, you'd have a great deal of transvestites, you have a great deal of greed and getting off on greed, and have a great deal of many things going on. But the key thing that's going on in that area is the way in which they treat the police. And the police have been slowly but surely, they've been disempowered. Yeah, they have an enormous amount of crime. They have an enormous amount of drug abuse and alcohol abuse and homelessness. And the mayor and the people who run the place are nuttier than a fruitcake. They're a part of this anarchist group that have a belief system in their mind of tolerance. And tolerance is where anarchy begins. Yeah, and these people are tolerant toward having their police station taken over, the city hall taken over, everything taken over. Super fine. We're going to have a block party, we're going to call it, instead of a protest, so that we get a better PR. That's what they did. That's the level of insanity that's in that place, which can create an enormous disaster if it keeps going that way. Yeah. And so out of it, in it, it has the largest, other than San Francisco, and which is the same place, same thing happening, same group of people, same enormous amounts of money, same monopolies, same everything, same homelessness level, same crime level, but it's higher in San Francisco. And also that is the number one place you go to get transgender surgery and to work your life out as a homosexual and decide the many different genders that you're going to play. So it's basically a well-adapted cultural process in San Francisco. So crime is much higher. Evil is the very heart of evil is in San Francisco. The Church of Satan was in San Francisco. The Bible of Satan was written in San Francisco by LeBay, a man called LeBay. He was the head of the Church of Satan. That's San Francisco. The second headquarters of Satan is Seattle. Yeah, Seattle. So I'm telling you, Satan exists. Yeah, it's something you might want to consider and worry about. So we have a city like Seattle, and it has enormous dysfunction, and it's causing, right now, riots throughout the whole United States. Yeah, it's coming out of this one particular location. Yeah, and that one particular location has just been seized. You know, and it's saying, oh, we got to get rid of all the police all over the United States, and that's really actually coming out of one location. But every other location, because they have people who are from that location, from Seattle, are in every other location. Philadelphia, Minnesota, every location where there might be a riot, you got the Seattle people there as spokespeople of what is our plan. Yeah? Anarchy. Get rid of the police. We'll start there. Yeah? Yeah. You know, so the whole process is not a need for getting rid of the police or anything like that, but it's a process of getting to understand that we have a process of cleansing on the planet, that the hierarchy, the process of higher levels of humanity, is impressing ways to work things out into humanity. So they do exist. They're here. We just don't see them. Yeah, we're making the wrong decisions, like Seattle. They're led by masses of people making the wrong decisions in their own personal life, yeah, and in the way that they're dealing with their anarchy, yeah. So that affects the whole of the system, yeah. So that effect, that influence, has a deep effect on the reality of whether or not they can see through this veil, see through the chaos, yeah. The chaos itself, they'll go, oh, well, it's not the drugs. Yeah, that's not causing it. It's homelessness. That's what we got here. We got homelessness. All these people who are homeless, they're homeless. Yeah, and they're also crazy and doing drugs. But we don't want to make it any harder on them. You know, so we're going to give them the allotted amount of drugs it takes, whether it be needles or whatever. We're going to legally make it okay for them to do their drugs without being harassed by us police. You know, and that harassment means that you steal something, you mug somebody, you harass people, you act insane on the street, and you live on the street where people are trying to do business, you know. Oh, we don't want to harass the homeless people, yeah? Where in reality, they are drug addicts, yeah? And they can't move. They lost their jobs because they're drug addicts, yeah? And they're psychologically completely losing it because they're drug addicts, yeah? And they can't get outside of being drug addicts because the city that they're in is supportive for that, yeah? They actually support them to be drug addicts. And they let them take over the city. So on a higher level, you got people who get paid, they got money, they got jobs, they're doing things, and they want to be anarchists. Because on the lesser level, they've got these people who are drug addicts and are destroying the city and are causing illegality. Over 5,000 arrests, you know, per year is happening in Seattle. Nearly 6,000 is happening in San Francisco per year. Other places, it's 1,000, you know, 2,000, you know. So this is an extreme high rate of violence and crime that comes with insanity, and it comes with stealing. It comes with drug addicts, yeah. So it's not about homelessness. It's about people breaking the law, causing crime, yeah, breaking law in every possible way, and doing things that doesn't allow the process to be dealt with. Yeah, just like the police say, okay, well, we're not going to bust this person for their drugs, and we're not going to push them off the street anymore. Yeah, we're going to let them live on the street. Go ahead, just live there. Yeah, and pee there. Yeah, and poop there. Yeah, and let it just pile up. Yeah, and now we have all the tourists who do not come to Seattle anymore because that's what they see, and it's not changing because of tolerance. Yeah, they're taking all the power away from the police. So that's why they can go to the precinct and say, get out of the precinct. We don't want you anymore. And they literally walked out of the precinct and abandoned it and turned it over to the people of Seattle because that was already in motion. They've already completely devalued the police department. Yeah. And in doing so, it's not about police with batons and guns or anything like that. It's about the law and being able to support and defend and bring about the right use of the law. And the police department would do something, they'd take something, put somebody in jail, but they'd be out in 12 hours or 48 hours, and they'd be doing the exact same thing. So they'd be wasting their time, and then they'd be asked to do other types of jobs that was much more like social workers. Yeah, and they're doing these things that are taking up all their time and everything, while they should be doing the things that they're meant to do, and they should hire other groups of people who do this social work and do that. Yeah, so it's completely confused. Everything is completely confused in the state of Seattle, and it goes out into America because we're dealing with lower mind. We're dealing with reincarnation that happens by the reality that we do not know that we reincarnate. We do not know that we die, and if we go to hell, we come back and we bring it back with us. Yeah? And we suffer and we wonder why. And how is this world the way it is? Yeah? The only way we fix it is by doing good things while we're alive. Yeah? And there are opportunities out there that can change everything for Seattle. All they got to do is look in the right direction and follow another city that had exactly the same problem and solve that problem.